Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Narrated Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam said, "Listen and obey your chief, even if an Ethiopian whose head is like a raisin were made your chief." Narrated Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam said, "If the Imam leads the prayer correctly, then he and you will receive the rewards. But if he makes a mistake in the prayer, then you will receive the reward for the prayer and the sin will be his." Narrated Ubaidullah bin Adi bin al-Khayyar, I went to Usman bin Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu while he was besieged and said to him, "You are the chief of all Muslims in general, and you see what has befallen you. We are led in the Salat by a leader, al-Fitan, trials and afflictions, and we are afraid of being sinful in following him." Uthman said, "As-salat, the prayer, is the best of all deeds. So when the people do good deeds, do the same with them. And when they do bad deeds, avoid those bad deeds." Az-Zuhri said, "In our opinion, one should not offer salat behind an effeminate person unless there is no alternative." Narrated Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam said to Abu Dhahr, "Listen and obey your chief, even if he is an Ethiopian with the head like a raisin." Narrated Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, once I passed the night in the house of my aunt Maimuna radiallahu ta'ala anha. Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam offered the Isha prayer and then came to the house and offered 4 rakat at and slept. Later on he woke up and stood for the prayer, and I stood on his left side. He drew me to his right and prayed 5 rakat and then 2. He then slept till I heard him snoring or heard his breath sounds. Afterward he went out for the morning prayer. Narrated Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, one night I slept at the house of my aunt Maimuna radiallahu ta'ala anha, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam was there on that night. He performed ablution and stood up for the prayer. I joined him and stood on his left side, but he drew me to his right and prayed 13 rakat and then slept till I heard his breath sounds. And whenever he slept, he used to breathe with audible sounds. The Muadhin came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he went out and prayed the morning prayer without repeating the ablution. Narrated Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, once I passed the night in the house of my aunt Maimuna radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood for the night prayer, and I joined him and stood on his left side, but he drew me to his right by holding me by the hand. Narrated Muad bin Jabal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I used to pray the Isha prayer with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and then go to lead my people in the prayer. Narrated Amr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, Mu'adh bin Jabal used to pray with the Prophet ﷺ and then go to lead his pupil in praying. Once he led the Isha prayer and recited Surah al-Baqarah. Somebody left the prayer and Mu'adh criticized him. The news reached the Prophet ﷺ and he said to Mu'adh, "You are putting the pupil to trial," and repeat it thrice, or said something similar, and order him to recite two medium surah of Mufasil. Umar radiallahu ta'ala said that he had forgotten the name of those surahs. Narrated Abu Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, a man came and said, "O Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by Allah, I keep away from the morning prayer only because so and so prolong the prayer when he leads us in it." The narrator said, "I never saw Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam more furious in giving advice than he was at that time." He then said, "Some of you make people dislike good deeds, the prayer. So whoever amongst you lead the people in prayer should shorten it, because amongst them are the weak, the old, and the needy." Narrated Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "If any one of you lead the people in prayer, he should shorten it, for amongst them are the weak, the sick, and the old. And if anyone amongst you pray alone, then he may prolong the prayer as much as he wishes." Narrated Abu Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, a man came and said, "O Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I keep away from the morning prayer because so and so Imam prolong it too much." Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam become furious, and I have never seen him more furious than he was on that day. The Prophet ﷺ said, "O people, some of you make others dislike the prayer. So whoever becomes an imam, he should shorten the prayer, as behind him and the weak, the old, and the needy." Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari radiallahu ta'ala anhu, once a man was driving two nadihas, a camel used for agriculture purpose, and night has fallen. He found Mu'adh praying, so he made his camel kneel and joined Mu'adh in the prayer. The latter recited Surah al-Baqarah or Surah an-Nas, so the man left the prayer and went away. When he came to know that Mu'adh had criticized him, he went to the Prophet ﷺ and complained against Mu'adh. The Prophet ﷺ said thrice, "O Mu'adh, are you putting the people to trial? It would have better if you had recited Sabbihismi Rabbikal A'la وَالشَّمْسِ وَالضُّحَاهَا or وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى." For the old, the weak, and the needy pray behind you. Jabir said that Mu'adh radiallahu ta'ala recited Surah al-Baqarah in the Isha prayer. Narrated Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray a short prayer in congregation, but used to offer it in a perfect manner. Narrated Abdullah bin Abi Qatada radiallahu ta'ala anhu, my father said, the Prophet ﷺ said, "When I stand for prayer, I intend to prolong it, but on hearing the cries of a baby, I cut it short, as I disliked to trouble the child's mother.